Let me know if any of you are able to relate, but recently being a Liverpool fan has not felt healthy for me. And the reason I say that is because I've just been so invested in the team, probably more than ever, out of not fear, but worry that we're really headed in the wrong direction. And usually I'm someone, and that's why probably for anybody that's seen my reactions to certain moments, I'm usually quite composed because I think I have a balance to life in terms of a lot of other passions outside of football. And I think if football is your whole world, obviously, if you lose or something doesn't go your way, you kind of crumble because it's so much of your life, which I think is actually happens to quite a lot of people in football. And I'm lucky where that's not the case because I love a lot of other things like going on long walks every single day, cinema. I love going to the movies. I love cooking and eating, so many different things, right? But in recent times, I have to be honest, I feel like I'm living in this like complete Liverpool bubble of like as if like this is the whole world because I consume so much Liverpool related podcasts or news or just I'm researching, thinking about everything Liverpool because I'm just so worried about our current situation, like I said, and it's scary to think of the direction that we're headed into. And I think when you have those feelings for something that you do care a lot about, which obviously I care a lot about because I do content full time, you know what I mean? Between Liverpool goals and the YouTube, I do, content all the time. So I'm always seeing everything that's going on. But I have to be honest, even with the international break, to me, it's felt so overwhelming. And because so much of the fan base just feels toxic in this moment in time and it feels the opposite of together and united, it really has taken a toll on me, at least in terms of like usually it's the go-to place for me to feel community and feel that sense of togetherness. And this season, at so many different occasions, it's felt like the opposite. And it's felt so divided that usually you see in all things in life, but even our own, I'm talking about just our own fan base and a lot of it online, obviously, but still, even people I know who are Liverpool fans, I've had division with because of how like intense the emotions are, and the feelings. But that to me has just been so sad because, like I said, usually Liverpool to me at least is the opposite of that. And it's this kind of like positivity. And even though, and I think shout out to the Anfield Rap, by the way, I'm going to leave a link to they had a long pod and they explained a lot of the situation of how we feel so well, where sometimes it's not just about winning. It's not about results. It's about the manner in which the team performs. And I think what absolutely was the last straw for many of us in the City game, but it's been, unfortunately at many times this season where you feel like the team just didn't give it everything they have. And that, like, whether you're a world-class footballer or not, that's something we expect when you represent Liverpool Football Club. And that it doesn't feel like that's happening now. But even, like I said, just the way the fan base feels, the energy within the fan base, I've never in my lifetime seen it so divided, genuinely. And it's been so tiresome, but also just not healthy. And I see myself, at least, how involved I've been. And for the last 2 days, I've actually been able to have a lot more distance. And when I go to the park, for example, instead of tuning into like what's happening, I'm without headphones and I'm just listening to the birds and I'm taking the time and I'm disconnecting. And it feels so freeing to disconnect. Like it is so important to disconnect. And like I said, usually I'm always someone that does that. Like obviously Liverpool has always and football has always been a huge part of my life for the last 15 years. In the way that I've been doing content every single day, I would say for 10 to 15 years now. But I've been able to really like separate and disconnect when I wanted to disconnect. But this season has been the most difficult season by some distance. And again, it's not just about results. It's about the feeling within the fan base, And let me know if you guys agree. Let me know if you guys agree with that feeling. And if you also feel as if it's been hard to disconnect, or you actually feel like in moments where it's been tough, you've been able to just focus on other things. Because obviously I do focus on other things like seeing friends, family, loved ones, everybody around me. Obviously, I take the time for that, but I'm talking about kind of your free time. To me, so much of my mental is thinking about Liverpool and worrying about Liverpool and worried about the next game and all of these things that usually it's not that way. You know what I mean? And I think that, like, I can imagine too the players just being so done with this season, because imagine how we're feeling for the players. I think it's as intense mentally, if not more, because think about it, a lot of them don't really have a life outside of football. Like, if you were to actually like study a footballer's life in this day and age, it's not as exciting as everybody thinks. Like, everybody thinks, oh, they're earning millions and they can travel around the world, they can get whatever they want. Like, the reality is, in this day and age and the expectations, you can't like go out during the week and meet friends and stuff. Like, a lot of stuff, like the level of professionalism now, it's like you have to be like, when training ends, basically almost all these footballers are just going home and spending time with family and eating, and then resting for the next day, for training the next day and preparing for the next game. Like, it is absolutely nonstop. And obviously, I understand how many people want to be in that position because of what they earn, but it doesn't take away the mental. I'm only talking about the mental. You could talk about the outside perspective of the financial side for the players, but I'm just saying, I can't imagine how done they are with this season, and that's probably related with the performances we're seeing. But like I said, I don't think you can really disconnect as a footballer in this modern age. I think it's very, very difficult to. And as fans, the nice thing is I think we have more of a capacity for that. But for me personally, this season it's been really, really difficult. It's been really difficult, and I've noticed how unhealthy it is, because the moment I am able to disconnect and take a distance, it's crazy how much better I feel. It's absolutely crazy. In the last 2 days, I felt monumentally better, because I see how much I'm able to not make it the center of the world. Because let's be real, Liverpool is absolutely not the most important thing in the world. It feels like the most important thing in the world to us, and when we play, it feels that way. But again, when you take a big step back, like, there's family, there's your loved ones, there's such serious things happening in the world, all these things. But sometimes you feel like that, and you're in that bubble. And I've been in that bubble for too long. You know what I mean? And I know many Liverpool fans, from what I hear and talk to my friends and other fans, is they just want the season to end. And I think part of that is because it feels so draining and tiring, and that's the opposite of what Liverpool usually is such a distraction from life, in terms of that time in the week where you can just not think about your problems and find positivity in it, find community. Like I said, all the things that are beautiful about Liverpool, it's really hard to see that in this moment in time. And that really brings me down, because that's my why of doing content. And like I said, for me at least, it's taken a toll. But at least I see in the last 2 days how I can disconnect, and I'll continue to do that. I have to do that. You know what I mean? But it all stems from a deep love of this football club, and of football. It's a deep, deep love. Otherwise, you don't put that much time into it. You know what I mean? But let me know if you guys can agree. Or maybe I hope for you guys that you're like, nah, actually this season has been low, but I've been able to take distance, and I've been able to not feel too much, not feel too down around it all. And I just focused on other things. Because if that's the case, then I say bravo to you, because that's what I need more of. Because right now I've been in too much of a bubble, and it ain't healthy. But anyways, let me know if you guys can relate. And as always, thank you for your support. I don't know if there will be a free flow video tomorrow, because I'm going to be going to the PSG game. I'm going to be in the away end. So I don't know. There will probably be a video on the main channel, but I got to see in terms of organization with all those things. So anyways, let's pray tomorrow we can get a decent result. And as always, thank you for your support. I will see you guys in the next one. Ciao, guys.